Hey guys, Lineage Devotee here. I'm running Ragnar Blackmane. After your warlord commits to a planet with an enemy warlord, deal them 2 points damage, or deal a unit. But I've got in here, I have Warfather's Shadows, and I also have the other champion card. I'm up against Subject Omega, played by Piotr. I'm not sure if I pronounced that at all right, but he's got the usual stalking lictor. He's able to ambush Genestealer unit cards to infested planets. We have Iridial, Taurus, and then Planum, so that's a green victory condition there. And then Yarn, which is a blue and a red victory condition there, so it's a pretty quick game. And Osis, so we've got a lot of green. In fact, we've got all green on the field. So I've got a Drop Pod of Salt, which can ambush. I've got Warfather's Shadows, which can ambush. And I'm not happy enough with that. I've got a Wolfguard Veteran, that's nice. He gains mobile when Space Wolves are adjacent. They're a Black Crusade card. I don't think the text has been updated on that image pack. It should say he gains mobile while there is a Space Wolf adjacent. He doesn't gain it and then just keep it. So Piotr starts, wish him well, and I've got a few more interesting options now. So let's see what I do with them. So he begins with a Rain of Mycetic Spores, which is an APOCA card, I believe. 1 cost, limited, so you can't play any other limited cards. It's a location, but it's attached to a planet. Attached to a planet, limit 1 per planet. As a headquarters action, you exhaust the attachment to infest this planet. If it's infested, you can infest one of the adjacent. If all of the adjacent are infested, you gain 2 resources. So it's a long game card, a really long game card, but it really just ensures that you spread a lot of infestation out quite quickly, and if I don't deal with that, he's going to start getting resources, which will be quite useful for him. So, solid start. What do I want to do first? First move is going to throw out the Lone Wolf. I'm a fan of the Lone Wolf. I like the Lone Wolf. 3 cost, 1 command, 3 attack, 3 hit points. Real standard, solid 3 cost Space Marine unit. But you can exhaust it as an action in any phase to move it to a planet with an enemy warlord and none of my own units. He puts out a 2 cost virulent Spore Sacs. 1 command, 0 attack, 1 hit point. As a combat action, sacrifice this unit to put 1 point of damage on each enemy unit at the planet. I really like the Lone Wolves because there's a few little tricks you can do to just bully away enemy warlords, even if you don't get a chance to swing with the Lone Wolf. So I throw out a Rogue Trader right down the end onto Osis, which is, I didn't really want to put it there, but 3 resources being sort of all in one basket, in the end I just had to do it. I need to make sure I'm getting resources. And I forgot completely that he's got the Stalking Lictor, so he can overwhelm any of my commands as well as beat me with a Warlord in command at this stage. So I'm thinking, what do I want to put out next? What are my options? Where am I going to send Ragnar? I'm looking at the first planet at the moment because it is a 3-color planet on quite a quick array of planets, so it's probably a good idea to go there. So if I do a Blood Core pack and he goes to planet 1, I can bring in the veterans anyway, or I could put them onto one of the other planets to possibly scare him away, but in the end I decide I'll go with the veterans. They currently have mobile because there is a Lone Wolf, which is a Space Wolf, at an adjacent planet, so they can get to planet 1 if I need to, and they equalize the only command that he actually has on the board. So there we go, I chose my planet, and let's see where he decides to go with Subject Omega. He's still choosing. Looks like he's got a... Yep, he's chosen for both. Okay, so I'm ready. Let's see where we're going. Yep, there we go. So, planet 1 for me, and... Oops. Sorry. That looks like he's going to planet 1 as well. So the Lictor stops me getting lots of resources, which is a shame for me. But yes, he goes to planet 1. So, immediately I can trigger Ragnar's effect, 2 damage to a unit at that planet. So that's nice. Hit Subject Omega, he doesn't appear to shield it. But I do win on Planum, and he wins on Osis. So he gets 2 resources, and I get a card and a resource. that's all pretty reasonable. And I get a Veteran Crusader. I'm very pleased with that. That was what I was going to say. That was the other champion card I have. I have so much ambush on this Ragnar deck. It's ridiculous. So, I win Iridial. He's unable to win Iridial, so he's unable to heal his Warlord. I think I would have been able to keep Iridial. I had a couple of shields. I had an advantage on Omega. I think I would have been alright. And at the end of the round, he manages to infest Planet. So now he's got some infestation. He can ambush Genestealer cards to that planet in the combat phase from his hand. Yeah, so that's really good. So I've got now two cost ambushes. I've got a couple of Blood Corp packs, which I basically they're only there to cheat in like Space Wolf Predators and things. I might remove them from this deck and put in some other ambush units. But now it's me first, so I'm thinking Terminator Armor on the Lone Wolf would be really, really good. It's 2 cost Deep Strike card attachment from the Black Crusade. It adds +2 attack, +2 hit points, and gives them the elite trait. Oh, I forgot to put a Stalking Lictor back. But I thought a Lone Wolf in Terminator Armor is a really great bully for Warlords, being able to just go anywhere that the Warlord goes. It's really nice. I've got a good 3 shields, I've got an Indomitable, so it's good. I've got a couple of really nice options here. Okay, even Terminator Armor on the Veterans would be nice. I'm just trying to think through the timing that I can do to get them onto the right planets. Am I able to deep strike? When do I deep strike? When would what be at which planets? Technically, I think I can. Where do I put it? I put it onto this planet, onto planet 2. By the time we get to that planet, it'll be nice to throw Terminator Armor onto somebody, I'm pretty sure. He invests 5 resources in a Ymgarl Genestealer. They're a really solid Tyranid Elite. 5 cost, 2 command, 4 attack, 4 hit points. A little bit under hit point statted, but they get +2 attack when there's a Warlord, which is solid. But they also get +2 hit points when there's a Synapse at the unit. So they're great little ambush hunter type units there. He's been unable to ambush it because Planet 1 is not infested, but he could have waited and blown up the Spore Sacks and then ambushed them in the combat phase, which would have been a reasonable thing to do, I think. Wait before spending those resources until you're sure that I am going to need them. And then he brings in the Ymgarl factor, which is a 1 cost attachment that is also Genestealer, so it can be ambushed if it's in an infested planet. Attached to an army unit, pay 1 resource to give that unit +2 attack or +2 hit points. Really solid. So that Ymgarl Genestealer is really quite nasty at the moment. He's hoping to bully me off planet 1, I think. He's chosen his Warlord really quickly. I am going to go to planet 5 to try and get some more cards, because I don't have a lot of cards right now. That was my entire thought process there. I was thinking I want a few more options. I've got a lot of cards, but they're just not that useful, and they could almost all be used up by the end of this combat phase. So I go to 5, and he goes to planet 4, and his Synapse goes to 5, so I can ignore the Synapse entirely. That's good, but he's going to get rid of my Rogue Trader, which is kind of reasonable. So he's doing better command than me, I think, really, that time. But I get a couple of options. I do get 1 resource, which is nice, and I also get a Standard Bearer, which is fantastic. Because it's not in an Imperial Guard deck, that it has ambush, and it is perfect for use with my Lone Wolf, who it can ready when it ambushes into the same planet as the Lone Wolf. But the Lone Wolf can get to a planet with a Warlord because there's nothing on the planet at the time. So, we go to the battle at Taras. He's checking if my Veteran is mobiling, and I do not need it to mobile, actually. No thank you. There we go, sorry. No, don't need it to mobile at the moment. but I believe I have action priority there, so let's see what I do. Targets the Spore Sacs, is going to blow them up straight away. So there we go, add a damage to the Wolf Guard and infest Taurus. See, and now he could have brought in the Ymgarl and the Genestealer Factor right now, before I won. So it wouldn't have made a huge difference, except for that he would have been able to wait and see if he wanted to. And I imagine he probably still would have wanted to, but he could have waited and held on to those resources until he was sure that was what he wanted. But then he wouldn't have won the command there as well. I would have equaled him on command. So perhaps that's part of what he was looking for. So I swing with the veterans at the Ymgarl. He's presumably going, yeah, I can take 3 damage, it's not a big deal. But now before he gets to swing, I want to put in the Veteran Crusader, a 2-cost Scout, Soldier, Black Templar, Space Marine unit. Has 3 attack, 3 hit points, no command, which is all a pretty reasonable oh, he's taken a resource for some reason. Oh, he was going to do his Ymgarl, but it's my action first. Now, so it has ambush, it has those stats, that's probably pretty good. But then it has the forced reaction. After the unit enters play, set your servo skull. Each player has to sacrifice an army unit at each planet that has been chosen. If both players choose the same planet, cancel that effect. So I've set my skull to planet 1, because I don't mind losing one of these guys, and I will take out that Ymgarl immediately. If he saves his Ymgarl by setting it to planet 1, then I will have the numbers, I'm pretty sure, to kill the Ymgarl. Pretty sure that that's what's going to happen here. I can still afford an Indomitable, or I can use Frostfang as a shield, so I've got options. I chose planet 1, he chose planet 1, so the effect is cancelled. Oh, I'm sorry about that little things. Alright, so now it's his turn. I can bring in the Standard Bearer to ready something on that planet if I need to. He adds a damage. Why does he add a damage? Oh, wrong button. Okay, puts 2 marker and attack all hit points. It's attack. So he's swinging for 6. He swings at my Veteran Crusader. That is 6 attack. I cannot shield that. I could Indomitable it, but then I realize actually that means my resources are not ideal. And then he Gene Implantation, which is signature event. After a Genestealer unit you control destroys an enemy army unit by an attack, put that unit into play from your opponent's discard pile under your control. So he takes the Veteran Crusader. And it's entering play right now. Do you want to trigger it? It says forced reaction after it's... Actually, it says forced reaction, doesn't it? So he has to use it. So it's entering play. Does he want to use it? Right. And so this time I decide if he wants to kill off anything on planet 1, fine, he's already won planet 1. No, no, that's not what I wanted to do, is it? Oh, I'm thinking of something else entirely then. Okay, I want to see if I can save planet 1 then. Oh, I was choosing planet 1 because I don't mind losing planet 1 if it possibly killed off some of his stuff. But it doesn't, it cancels out, that's fine. And then he swings, and I just let it go because I might as well at this point. He's invested a lot into that planet. He deserves it. So Taurus, he's got 4 units to my 3, so he can't trigger it. he can't get his bonus cards, but he does play Strip the Planet Dry, which is a Black Crusade card, I believe. It's hard to see. I'm pretty sure that one was a Black Crusade. 0 cost event. After winning a battle at the first planet, gain 2 resources. If it's infested, gain another 2 resources. So he gets an extra 4 resources, which is really nice. Which it's just interesting. He's combined Apoca and Black Crusade cards in this deck. I'm always interested with people who've done that and see how effective it can be. Yeah, so there we go. Nice use of Strip the Planet, and on we move. So now we go over to Osis, where he wants to kill my rogue trader. And I want him to become exhausted. Come on. He has no action. I have no action. So he kills my rogue trader, which is great. So now it's his action. Oh no, he doesn't get to do that just yet. Not yet. Actions first. Yep, he's got no action. So, over I come. Right. Do you have an action? No, actions. There we go. Right, standard bearer. After it enters play, it can ready a unit at that planet. Right, so he's exhausted and I've got 5 attack coming through. So let's go with the 3 attack first, which he shields with the lethal toxin sacks, which his signature attachment, which can be deployed from the discard pile, however not ambushed, because his Warlord ability only affects cards in his hand. But then I do another 2 damage to him with the standard bearer. I'm pretty sure he's going to run away at this point. I was hoping to bloody him. If I'd had the resources for the drop pod assault, I totally would have done it then, but oh well. But I get a bonus resource out of it, and he loses one. And then I'm actually down here at Elowith with my Warlord. Might as well swing at the Stalking Lictor. Do 2 damage to it. He can do 1 damage back to me. And I'm hoping, yeah, he runs away, so I'll trigger that planet now. So I gave away planet 1, which was a bit of a drag, but I did manage to get his Warlord a lot more damaged and to dig a bit for small cards. So I've got 2 of the champion cards, and I've got a Predator that I can sneak in potentially with the Blackmane, not Sentinels, the Bloodclaw packs that I have. But I decide I'm going to go for the Veteran Crusader because it's 2 cost to ambush 3 attacks. That's basically what I'm thinking here. And he uses the mycetic spores to infest the next planet. And that's all I've got to do. That's all he's got. So, on to turn 3. Right, so I've got lots of options now. I'm getting lots of choices, which is really good. Thinking about the Sentinels possibly useful. Another Veteran's useful. Primal Howl is definitely useful. I've got heaps of cards now, so I'm wanting resources. And he begins with Consumption, which I feel like was a bit too much. 4 cost, deploy action, each player must sacrifice a unit at each planet. But I actually only have units at 1 planet, so I only lose 1 unit. I feel like that was probably not the best choice. He may have thought that it was his only choice at this stage, but I feel like it wasn't the best one. So, Bloodclaw packs on planet 1 would be handy, but I'm thinking I want to save some money, so I put out a signature unit, the Sentinel, 2 cost, a little bit cheaper, 2 cost, 1 command, 2 attack, 2 hit point, but I can move them to wherever Ragnar is after he commits if I want to. And he puts a Toxic Venomthrope over onto that planet. 2 cost for 2 command, 0 attack, 2 hit point. And after you win the command struggle, infest the planet. If it's already infested, gain a card or a resource. So I'm probably going to move the Sentinels to wherever I send Ragnar, because at the moment they're not gaining me any command there anyway. And it was the resource planet as well. I really would have liked some resources there. So, I want to save some resources for ambushing, and I don't have a lot of them. And he decides to put out a Genestealer Brood. 3 cost, 1 command, 3 attack, 2 hit point. After you deploy the unit, search the top 6 cards for a Genestealer card. They're a good way to just keep cycling through some Genestealers, and he pulls out a Erupting Aberrance, which is another APOCA card, a really interesting one. After your opponent captures a planet, destroy a target army unit, could be one of mine, but put that unit into play at that planet under control of whoever's unit you just destroyed. So it can swap out one of yours for a stronger Genestealer Cultist unit, or you can get rid of something big of mine, but you have to give me a Genestealer Cultist unit. It's an interesting little choice decision maker there. Takes his markers off the Ymgarl, because that only lasts the previous round. Okay, he's made a decision for his Warlords. And his Synapse, great, okay. Let's see what we see. So, I go to Planet 3, to make sure I get some resources there. I'm worried he's going to steal them. Which he is going to Planet 3, so that does mean I would have lost the resources there. What? What? What's going on here? He says what? I can't remember what's... Why did you go there? I'm not sure why that's... Why not go to Planet 4? Because I need resources? Odd. And he sends his Synapse to Planet 1. So, I can't get the Lone Wolf to Planet 1 because his Warlord's not there. I could ambush something to Planet 1. Which I might do, but I get to trigger Primal Howl first, which is great. Pull 3 cards. Cool, some good little cards there. Lovely. I get to ping a unit. I wonder if I'm going to pull the Sentinels. There's no reason to keep them there. I'm going to send 2 damage onto the Ymgarl, see if I can kill it. I possibly should have tried to bloody Omega, so he loses his ambush ability. But I felt like that was more likely to be shielded. So he gets a way better command than I do. But I get some resources, which is what I really wanted. Okay, so Planet 1, do I want to ambush something in? And technically, there's an action window before the battle at Planet 1, so I could use... I can't use a drop pod assault. It would have to be the Veteran Crusader that can use that action window. The drop pod says it's where a battle is taking place, so it can't happen until after the battle begins. But if I dropped the Veteran Crusader into that early action window, then I would have been able to deep strike that Terminator armor onto him, and he would have become a 5/5. But it didn't seem particularly worth it. So I'm trying to decide which thing do I want to bring into Planet 1. I think I want to use the drop pod assault because I don't actually want him to if he chooses Planet 1 for the effect of the Veteran Crusader and kills my Veteran Crusader, his Synapse is going to be alright. I wanted the reliability. The more reliable drop pod assault to definitely have a unit on that planet and definitely kill something. But he decides to put the Ymgarl onto that planet. Oh, that's big and nasty. This is possibly why I should have tried to bloody Omega to avoid that. Okay, so that's his action. He puts out the Ymgarl as an ambush, which his Warlord allows him to do because it's a Genestealer card. And now I have to think about how do I want to do this? And I decide to go for the Veteran Crusader at this point. Now, if I set to planet 1, he's going to still win planet 1. So I decide I want to set to planet 3 and clear out these units that are protecting his Warlord. And I'm hoping that he goes for planet 1 to try and counter me. Or to kill off my Crusader, because I know I've got a drop pod assault, so I can still ambush something at. So he's done. I go planet 3, and he goes to planet 1. Fantastic. So I lose 5 resources of units, and he loses 7 resources of units, but really only 5 because well, maybe 6 because the Crusader that dies was mine, so that's fine. But at that point, when he has no other action, I am going to drop pod something onto that planet I really would like to win, Planum. So I have not as good options as I would have liked, but a Lone Wolf will do just fine. 3/3 body is pretty solid, pretty good. So the Lone Wolf drop pods down. There we go. He has no other actions. He gets to swing first, but it's only for an attack of 1, which I am not worried about in the slightest. And at that point, he calls GG. Cool. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. I kind of like Ragnar being a real good hunter still with these champion cards, so I'm probably going to use that again. It's cool to see people mixing up the fan cards. I like seeing that. I like to know how ridiculous it can be. So, yeah, I hope you're enjoying, and catch you next time. See you later.